There's a phenomenon that I've been pointing out to you all, and it felt like it was just me for a while, and I see that other people are starting to notice, which is interesting. And I saw a really interesting post that has a takeaway that I find fascinating about this phenomenon. What am I talking about? Well, before getting into clips from one of Trump's recent rallies, and I know what we're about to talk about before those clips comes off as sort of petty to some people. I get it. But sometimes we got to have fun. And maybe there's some underlying profound truth to it. And then we'll get into the substance and I'll react to these insane Trump clips. But the Lincoln Project posted this about a photo that's been circulating. Trump's makeup application is a good indicator of what his second presidency would look like. Sloppy, stale, no unity, and no one in his inner circle telling him no. And you can see in interviews, I've been telling you, I don't know if this is he goes through a long day and sweat sort of causes it to, the term I've used is melt off of his face a little, or if he's just not applying it properly. But it seems he's becoming lazier in his effort to do whatever he's been doing over the years to his face. And maybe this is a sign of him not having his heart in the game as much as he used to. As some are speculating, when you see him at these rallies, he doesn't seem as into it. And speaking of one of them, makeup on his face, off his face, melting off his face, whatever. Regardless, the substance is concerning. Before clicking play on this first clip, please do remember to click that subscribe button as we charge towards 1 million subscribers. Got some special stuff in store for you when we do that, and I'm very excited for those announcements. But first, hear Trump just struggling on some words.
He walked in with a couple of young constituents to show him the Capitol as I remember it, and they accused him of showing in Russia's what? And he became, instead of most people, they say, oh.
What was that word? I've played it now a few times.
And they accused him of showing in Russia's what? And he became.
Is yours Russia's? Maybe I'm just mishearing it, but that one I struggle with. And this interesting word.
So we won 2 beautiful, big, horrible.
Big. And then just one more of these.
She wants to let her millions of illegal Medicare, she wants to raid Medicare. That's what they're going to do, raid Medicare, Social Security. She wants to ban fracking as California Attorney General.
Yeah, she, of course, does not want to ban fracking and has clarified that a bunch of times. Then here I guess imitating Kamala Harris.
32 days, Mr. Congressman. 32, she goes, and the election will be in 32 days. 32 days. The teleprompter crashed. 32 days. She kept going. I would have loved to. You know, it kicked back in. It's called a kickback. Like some people know a lot about a kickback. It's called a kickback. They know in this administration. But no, it's a kickback. It kicks back in.
MAGA. You have to see what we're talking about. I get angry messages, and I pulled up while we're watching this an example of what I'm talking about from people who say, Trump's so easy to understand. You're crazy. He's not incoherent. He's not declining. Trump. You'll see what I'm referencing in a second here. But there, he goes from talking about how Kamala Harris was acting whenever the teleprompter went off, and then the teleprompter kicked back on. And he said, it's called a kickback. You know something about kickbacks. They got a lot of kickbacks, but a kickback on. Just like how recently he said, answering some question, the rocket, it came down into a little circle, the Elon Musk rocket. And the circle, it was so small, and the rocket goes perfectly down, pew. And the circle, you remind me of the Biden circles. The Biden circles, how did he even beat me? They said he got 81 million votes, but he had circles. He couldn't fill the circles. I'm thinking, really? This guy beat me? He's campaigning from his basement. It's not a guy you're talking to at the bar. This is the presidential candidate for the Republican Party. So before getting on to other clips, this is what some people write into the show, MAGA folks, whenever I do segments like this one. This kid is an idiot if he thinks Trump doesn't make sense. I'm not going to correct all of the incorrect words and grammar, so you can take note of that for yourself. Harris has not said one word that's made any sense at all. She's so hard to understand because she's talking just to hear herself talk, and no one with a mind and ears can make heads or tails of her words salad crap, and her lies are too many to keep up with. She's not qualified to be running for this job or any other job. She lies every time she opens her mouth, and when she's not flat out lying like a rug, she's talking about nothing to real questions asked to her. And then she starts that word salad shit. She's a joke, and so are the Dems. Trump, 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 the only person with a plan and who has done the job better than Biden and Harris has done. At least Trump loves Americans and this country, and anyone who votes for Harris deserves what's next for them. From them, and the rest of Trump people will have to suffer from the results, and I will stop paying taxes from that day until there's someone in that office who won't throw my money away to other countries and immigrants and DEI didn't earn it people. That's my right as an American to support the party that earns it, but that's not going to happen because Trump's got this one hands down. Trump 2024, the Luke is fake news too, a joke. So, it's always difficult because I genuinely want to thoughtfully engage with people and not be insulting. But all I'll say is when you send that sort of message, its incoherence makes you a less credible source for the coherence of Trump, right? You advocating that Trump's a really coherent speaker is less compelling when that's the way you communicate it to me. So I'll leave that there. Then here's this.
The Caravan. I made up that name too. I'm good at names. You know the names? I can't use those names too much because many of them were for Republicans. We had some beauties, but we can use Pocahontas and other people. But I said, listen, you wouldn't take them back. Sir, there seems to be a misunderstanding. We would love to take them back. We love MS-13 so much, sir. Please let us take.
They're taking credit for making up the word caravan. Making up the word caravan. I guess whenever he uses it in relation to undocumented immigration, he's saying he came up with that. And he comes up with the best names, but a very strange moment as well. Then, on his perception of a woke military.
They don't want to do anything that's good for
as people in this shot walk out.
Us. They don't want to do anything that's good for us. And you know what? They ought to be ashamed of themselves. I'm going to ask them to put on woke. Do you know this? What this is all about? We don't have a woke military, but some people think there are some people in the top. Can you put that woke military? Put it up, the Master Sergeant.
And then they show this video that compares what a woke military looks like to a non-woke military. Just inspiring stuff, getting right to the core of the issues that matter. And then this.
If you don't win, we've all had a good time, but it's not going to matter, right? Sadly, because what we've done is amazing. 3 nominations in a row. What we've done, we got to win. If we don't win, it's like it was all for not very much. We can't let that happen.
Okay. And you can see as the speech dragged on, increasingly the crowd disengaged. And here, as Aaron Rupar put it, he's nearly put them to sleep.
Doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do. Springfield, Ohio. We love Ohio. We won Ohio every time by a lot. We're leading now by a lot. And I know Springfield, beautiful little place, 50,000 people. They've just deposited 32,000 illegal migrants into the town. They don't speak English, but they've taken up the schools. They don't speak English. What they're looking for is interpreters because they have no idea what they're going to do. Nobody speaks, very few of them speak English. So they're looking all over for interpreters. That's what they want to find.
Yeah, so the stuff that we've heard him rambling about for quite some time now, it is fascinating his ability to take a crowd that when he comes out, they're riled up, they're excited, and put them to sleep. But if he notices that, there is one category he can address that will wake him right up quick.
We will get critical, and we will do this. Critical race theory and transgender insanity will be out of our schools immediately.
As he's rambling about Springfield or whatever, they're not that hyped. But you bring up trans people, and that is the one issue, honestly, that gets the loudest applause, as many have pointed out. It's not that there aren't debates, discussions, policies that all relate to transgender people. There are. But we have to point out, separate from any of the particulars, how bizarre the emphasis and obsession from MAGA is on that particular subject. Then you have this.
The United States is now an occupied country, but on November 5th, 2024, that will be Liberation Day in America. Liberation Day.
Yeah, he's gotten really excited about calling us an occupied country, and he's referencing undocumented immigrants. Again, I said in a different segment, he really does rely on creating this fictional world that is scary for his followers to live in, and the normal world's scary enough. Why do we have to create these boogeymen and these fabrications and the fear-mongering? Can we just talk about substantive policy? Why do we have to do the creating a bubble for people to live in so they can think that things are worse than they are, or are more in a state of crisis than they are? Again, because there's so many real crises we could be discussing. Or on undocumented immigration, we can also talk about that. You want to talk about border security? Great, let's do it. Let's talk about Trump's responsibility in getting Republicans to block solutions on that. But we're not going to get anywhere as long as you use this needlessly dehumanizing, provocative, and scapegoating language. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Support the show. Get the bonus show by clicking the join button below.